your life.
Good morning. I have noticed over time that there is a lot of interest in Dzogchen, but a lot of unclarity on exactly what that might be. I think people have heard that it is the last teaching or the highest teaching, which is true, and therefore that's the one they want. So I thought maybe to take a afternoon, morning, as the case may be where you are, and clarify a bit what this is that you think you want. To begin with, as in all teachings and practices, we begin by a rising bodhisattva. We begin by taking refuge. These two come together in Guru Yoga, which is why I use this particular monlam. To remind us of that. Njuku kundu zongbo gombo e, dorji sempagarab dorji dang, shere singe bardu shin labde, de damabzan tata tusum chi, zogchen jupe lamala solwa, deb. Ergin pema junela solwa deb. Dorji chang chitilo narudang. Marpa mila gompo tatapa. Na pupadang palden drupa suk. Kargulama namla solwa deb. Chen lama namla solwa deb. Chen lama namla solwa deb. Kaginwari lama namla solwa deb. Shakya lama namla solwa deb. Nyandu da yundrun lama namla solwa deb. Pa kondu jongdang yerme pa. Gongarab dorji jin trag pa. Jeti dang nisume pa. Pa lamanam chetente. Chong. The words Dzogchen. Dzog, completion. Chen, great. The great completion. What is complete? Complete means all done. Yes, when you have completed the doing of something, you are then done. When you bake a cake and your timer rings and you take the cake out of the oven and you look and you take a little straw and you poke it in the middle and take it out and you look at the straw. And if the straw is covered with smudge, your cake's not done. You put it back in the oven. If the straw comes out clean or close to clean, your cake is done and you take it out of the oven. Dzogchen is the practice of done. There is no Dzogchen practice. Practice is a doing of getting better at something. Once you're done, there is no doing. Don't be like a cake taken out of the oven too soon that falls in the middle and is still goo there, does not come nicely out of the pan, and tastes raw when you go to eat it. So, how do you know when you're done? Can I stick a straw in you and see if it comes out clean? That's a good analogy. You're done when I poke you, or the universe pokes you, and nothing grabs on. We always grab on. To a belief system such as the Dharma, such as philosophy, such as whatever you believe is true about medicine, such as all of that. And when you get poked, you grab on. So before I can talk about being done, I need to talk a little bit about the doing and why you do. Why would you practice Dharma? First of all, in order to practice Dharma, you need to be fully human. Doesn't mean Homo sapien. There's lots of Homo sapiens who, due to external or internal circumstances, are not yet fully human and ready to look beyond the end of their nose. You see, most people in this world, either due to external hardships, such as being in a war zone, such as being a young mother with 3 kids under 5, or with a sick baby, such as being stricken by poverty or in some kind of financial crisis. There is no space there to seek beyond. Too busy staying alive. And internally, perhaps you are simply uninterested in looking beyond. Many people are primarily interested in finding food and getting laid. This is animal realm. This is what all the birds and the bugs and the beasties are into. Finding food, finding shelter, getting laid. It's only when these base things are from outside not so very difficult. Dharma didn't arise until there was a middle class. That time in India when Dharma began to flourish. That time in ancient times of Zhangjun when Dharma was flourishing. These occurred because there was leisure. After achieving food and shelter, sufficient unto one's needs, there was still some energy left to look beyond. If your life is not currently in a condition for you to have that energy left, whether due to outer circumstances, such as being in a war zone, you're too busy staying alive to look beyond, or having a severe depression or terrible anxiety Too busy dealing with that to look beyond. Or simply so caught up in your personal hopes and fears that you have no inclination to look beyond. It is said that you have not achieved full humanity yet. It's always there as a possibility for you. But the inner inclination and the outer circumstances of an opportunity and a desire to look beyond the end of your nose, your next meal, finding a lover, finding what you want, getting your house paid off, whatever it is you're involved in, requires a gap. And that gap is the difference between not quite fully human. We call it precious human rebirth. But it refers to a state of having time and energy to look beyond the end of your nose, to look beyond the next thing you need to acquire in life, getting your thesis done, passing the next exam, getting the promotion, becoming a partner in the firm, scrabble, scrabble, scrabble like mice in the cupboards. Once you are fully human and you begin looking beyond, you need to notice your own mortality. You will die. Everything you have achieved will be lost then, if not before. Senility, sickness, old age, death. You will experience these things. You're mortal. Notice it. The third thing about being fully open is to notice just how much trouble you give yourself resetting your patterns. How often you make the same decision that leads to the same problems that you can't get away from. How often misfortune occurs. Everything you fear is chasing you. And you running as fast as you can to catch everything you want. This will block you from looking beyond. Without understanding how you block yourself by pursuing goals and fleeing your own demons, you will not be able to take advantage, should you even be fully human. Understand, you don't have to be Homo sapien to be human. Human realm includes all those living beings who are able to communicate abstract concepts through a language. It would be the height of hubris to think only Homo sapiens can do that. It's a big universe out there. Once you have noticed how much life can hurt, you need to notice why it does that. How the push-pull pull of action and reaction across time functions. Understanding these things, being fully human, recognizing your own impermanence, noticing that shit hurts, life hurts. You cannot have a life that do not hurt. And beginning to get an inkling of how the push-pull across time happens and how decisions that you make have results, deeds that you do have results later. If you know these things, you can practice, you can begin, and you won't be done unless you start. That great pile of laundry over there, it won't be done until you start the loads. Now, will it? And Dzogchen is done. The done. The great completion. So first you have to be in a position, having these four, to begin, and then you actually have to go through the process. Now, that process is different for each person. There is no particular way that process has to work. You need to follow the map from where you are standing, exactly where you are standing, to where you want to go, which is done. So there's a first step and a second step. But since you're all standing in different places, you all have different karma, different personalities, different languages, different cultural matrices, different circumstances and situations. So you're all starting from a different point. Therefore, the map you need to follow is subtly different. Sutrayana, intellectual understanding through reading and studying. Vajrayana, including the tantras, shifting the unconscious patterns through use of symbolism and repetition. This is mantrayana, vajrayana, tantrayana. Direct meditation, which is coming to recognize your own nature. The totality of yourself, as well as the totality of phenomena, the stuff all around you, the people, the places, all of it, the stars in the sky. And the doing of what we call meditation until you're done. Great completion, until you are complete. In Dzogchen, there is no practice. In Dzogchen, there are neither concepts nor words. No, wrong way to say it. Dzogchen, as the totality, contains concepts and words, but is not limited by them. Most of us, since we are still in the realms of needing to understand with thought and explain it to ourselves with words, are caught in K-rim, path of accomplishment. We are caught there by that need. I really need to understand what's going on. Yeah? If I don't understand what's going on, how will I make decisions about what I should do? Yeah? Path of accomplishment. Tool use. mantra, archetype, comprehension, reading of texts, understanding in language, goes just up to the edge of Dzogchen. But it is not Dzogchen. I brought you here under false pretenses. I said I would explain to you what Dzogchen is. I can't. No one can. Dzogchen, the great completion, is not explainable. Look, the words we're using, I am currently speaking to you in English. Possibly someone is translating for you my words into Spanish or Russian or some other language. It doesn't matter. It still won't reach Dzogchen. Words are limited. Some of you are bi or trilingual. If so, you are aware that there are things that you can say very well in one language that you can't quite say in another. Even if you speak 84,000 languages, there'll be still another one somewhere with words of things you cannot say. Dzogchen will not fit in any of these words. Words are concepts. Concepts arise in mind and dissolve in mind, yes? Your mind is the thinker of thoughts. The thoughts are in your mind. Whether you think they are puffs of chi going through cricks in your energy channels, or you think that they are chemical neurotransmitters being sent between neurons in your brain, however you wish to explain it to yourself, the explanation is limited. It is this or that. It makes you think that thoughts are either little puffs of chi moving through cricks in your channels or neurotransmitters, without realizing that both those descriptions are analogies, and that even thoughts are beyond description, let alone where they be happening. Dzogchen is about discovering, no, actualizing. Krim is part of discovering. Dzogchen is actualizing the totality of your mind. Krim has many methods that allow you to access more and more of the totality of your mind. But when you access the whole thing, it is complete. And that's Dzogchen, the great completion. I have had people say to me, I only want to practice Dzogchen. No, you do not. There is no practice of Dzogchen. It is complete. What you want to practice is Krim aiming for Dzogchen. Well, we have words for that. Trekcha, cutting through. It cuts through the crap that adheres you or distracts you from the nature of Dzogchen. But it isn't the real Dzogchen. Even the text in Nyingma, the 3 words of Gary Dorji, which is your basic Dzogchen text, and in Bon, the 21 nails, which is your basic Dzogchen text, may be approached with a how-to. You will not fully understand either one of them until completion. Where Tawa, Gompa, and Sopa, the 3 words of Garab Dorji, are recognized as a singularity, not a triad. Where all 21 nails obviously point at the same thing from 21 different sides. Until such time, there is only practice. And the practice is easy, not hard. What may be hard is giving up the protection of entertainment. And yet, if you have noticed your dissatisfaction with this, when I was young, baby boomer, we're talking 1960s or 70s, those years, we all were dissatisfied with the life of our parents in the 50s. They chased the American dream, a nice house in the suburbs, a lovely kitchen, maybe playing bridge on Tuesdays, a lawn without dandelions, 2 cars in the garage. And most of them obtained that. And they were not actually happy. And we saw our fate in front of us as teenagers. Expected to chase the same things as our parents. Get a good education, find a good job, buy a house, pay the mortgage, have some kids, grow old and die. And it wasn't enough. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Timothy Leary dropped lots of acid, looking for it there. I will say this for the times. We had enough space and security. Most of my entire generation went looking outside the box. Went looking in a lot of different directions. Some died. A lot of us looked in drugs. Maybe there's a drug that will free us, that will show us something new. Take enough acid, you might believe that's the one. It wears off. Even if you take lots of it every day for months, it still wears off eventually. And there you are, still dissatisfied. Unless you are dissatisfied, which is the 3rd point I made, noticing not just that you're mortal, but that this is not enough. You have a life, you get a bunch of toys, and then you die. No, that's not enough for me. Probably isn't for you either if you're interested enough to be listening to this. That itch. That dissatisfaction with yourself and your environment. Some of you project it outwards. Oh, everything would be fine if I just had a lover, house, kids, no kids. Others of you will project it inwards. Oh, everything would be fine if I was just a better person, saner, less depressed. Gee, maybe there's a pill that'll fix it. It might help with the depression, but everything won't be fine. You'll still be dissatisfied. So, where will you strive when you notice that there is something missing? That this, as it is right now, isn't quite enough. That you could be better. Fiercer, kinder, stronger, more together. How much time can you spend trying to get your shit together before you notice that it's just gonna come apart again? A life of piling shit. That dissatisfaction. That feeling that something is missing. Underlying all of it, whether you project that to be missing in you, I'm not good enough, nobody, or missing in your environment, nobody loves me. These are not different things. It's that underlying subtle sense of dissatisfaction. You aren't done until that is satisfied. Check my microphone settings.
Yeah, you should be.
Somebody's saying they can't hear me when I lower my voice, and I've got this. I can raise it a bit.
Yeah, make sure it isn't covered by your Zen.
Isn't.
Okay, and just let me make sure that, yeah, that's on.
And it's pretty close to my throat.
Yeah, so.
The best I can do, guys. You want to turn on closed caption?
It should be on already. It is.
Okay. Okay, figuring out the microphone distracted me. Aren't we all distractible? When Guru Rinpoche's own teacher kept sending him off to practice, and whenever they met again, the teacher always had one question for him: are you satisfied? Mostly. It's not Zogchen. You're not done. Back in the oven with you. Don't fool yourself that you are done. You're still practicing the last stages of K-Rim, aiming for Dzogchen. But true Dzogchen has no practice. Let's pause for questions and see if anyone's come up with some.
No, there's quite a few, actually.
See if there's any good ones for me.
Do you think that a revelation of the nature of the mind during a psychedelic experience with remedies such as ayahuasca could be an analog to pointing out instructions?
I have not yet gotten myself down up the river in South America to take ayahuasca properly, and I don't choose to take it improperly with a bunch of hippies up in Marin. So it is hard for me to answer that about ayahuasca done properly. I believe it's does similar to peyote in a mitot, a proper ceremony, where it teaches you to be more fully human. I don't think it will take you beyond that. And I'm pretty sure it can't take you into completion stage, full completion, simply because it has a cause and a beginning. And as you will have noticed, anything with a beginning has an end. Can you think of anything with a beginning that has no end? Next question.
Is it a skillful means to view emotions like non-dualistic flavors?
Yeah. It's not the most skillful means, but perhaps it'll help you a bit to keep from, having road rage and smashing your car. But you see, when you view things in a certain way, you're imposing an idea on them. Feelings are actually stronger than thoughts. They will overcome your intellect. So when you think of them this way and that way, rather than experiencing them as pure energy. To think of them as pure energy ain't going to get you diddly squat. Really. It's a thought. When you're in the throe of an intense emotion, such as anger or grief or terror, you're not going to remember to think of them like that. You're too busy in the throes of the emotion. It's intense. No, you have to feel them as the pure vitality of the Sambhogakaya. But in order to do that, you need to practice doing that with little uns and bigger uns and bigger uns until that's how they feel to you. Viewing them this way or that way is really quite pointless. Now, there is a practice in Sutrayana where when you experience anger, you meditate on patience. When you experience lust, you meditate on renunciation. In fact, there's a teaching given to teenage monks about how disgusting cunts are. There's a teaching given to teenage nuns about the nasty things found under foreskins. These teachings are equivalent. They're supposed to keep them from chasing each other. It doesn't work all that well. The instincts tend to overcome the thoughts and the belief systems. Next question.
You've said you're done when the universe pokes you and nothing grabs on. Does that mean you have no reaction? Or does it mean you let your reaction be and dissolve?
Not grabbing on is not a lack of a reaction. It's a lack of attempting to stabilize anything. It's a lack of attempting to stabilize the moving. The moving is always going to move. You can't stop it. What is the moving? It's a Mahamudra term. The moving is phenomena, both inner and outer. Your thoughts and feelings, which are called inner, and stuff, which is called outer. It moves, it changes. We are trying always to get happiness to arise and stay there. And it doesn't do that. It's moving. We are trying to find a real belief system or a true thought that we can rely on. They're all made of the same not thing. Doesn't work. We would like to find some phenomena that we can trust to always be there. But even the sun, our personal star, will grow old and go out. Won't work. When you do not grab onto a belief system or an entertainment in the process of the moving phenomena dancing around you, not seeking anything to stabilize, to achieve, or to avoid, which is not quite what you said. That's not grabbing. We will grab onto even misery to entertain our minds and distract ourselves from that underlying sensation of lack, of dissatisfaction, of something missing. And even the Dharma can be used as an entertainment. Next question.
Wait. How are practices of rainbow body related to Dzogchen? I still chase new practices such as Togyo and secret practices. It seems to interfere a lot with transcending everything.
That's because you're not done yet. That's what's sticking to your straw. Goop. You want more practices. Togel, leaping over, is a method of working with phenomena, external phenomena. And until you have really, well, no, Togel is suitable, doable, when you no longer differentiate between internal and external phenomena. It's all just phenomena. Where you have at least come to the point where you don't believe they are separate. The leap over, what you leap over in Togel, is the last of the sticking to a reality. Your last grasp of a reality. Up, down, table, chair. For it to work for you, or have any effect other than becoming one more entertainment doing, which is really not what it's for. You need to be pretty damn sure that you're mostly satisfied? Are you satisfied? Or is that hole still bothering you? The one at the core of yourself that you want to fill with a new practice, a new entertainment, so that you can be an even better yogi. Self-improvement, anyone? You kind of need to be over the needing to make yourself perfect by some old childhood concept of what you think perfect is by the time you attempt those practices, or they simply won't work and it'll be just a waste of time and will actually, it could be counterproductive. They will entertain you and keep you from what might be a more effective practice for you. Anything more coming up?
Yeah, there's a number of questions.
Keep going.
Okay.
There's so little you can say about Dzogchen.
Can we practice Dzogchen after having received pointing out instructions via your YouTube videos?
You practice structure. It is not yet complete. It is practice. Yes, it is within the category of Dzogchen, but it's not yet complete. You're still in the oven, which is fine. All of the Rushens and the practice of Trekche and Togel point to Dzogchen, lead into the true completion, which is beyond time and space, therefore cannot be caused or done. Next question.
In lieu of having direct access to a teacher that teaches practices aiming toward Dzogchen, is there anything that a practitioner can do to guide themselves?
Sutrayana read and intellectually learn. But even for the practice of Tantra, you need initiations, you need teachings and explanations. You need teachers. And you will fool yourself without such. There are ways you can find a teacher, teachers, spiritual friends, those who can assist you avoiding fooling yourself. But when you are clinging on to the last cliff for dear life, somebody's got to kick your fingers loose, because no one in their right mind would let go. And if you're in your wrong mind, it won't work. That was it, Trungpa said. I have good news and bad news for you. The bad news is that we have fallen from a cliff. The good news is that there's no bottom to hit. That free fall is Dzogchen. Where the three jewels are one. Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. The innately vital, awake and aware, infinite, vast expanse which sparkles with playfulness of creativity. Get off the text. No, off the text onto the table. There you go. Next question.
What is the difference between Dzogchen and Advaita Vedanta?
Damned if I know. I haven't studied Hindu practices. And I don't speak Sanskrit. I think those are words, but I don't know what the latter means. Advaita Vedanta. Go ask a scholar. Next question.
Oh, yes, there. Do you have any advice for those with ADHD or OCD in preparing for practices like Treksha and Dzogchen?
Okay, it's slightly different unless you've got both of those, in which case both advices. With OCD, focus your OCD on your altar. If you must have something perfect, go ahead and play with getting that perfect. It'll do you some good. Focus your OCD on learning the mudras and making them graceful of your tantric practice. With ADD, simplify your environment and your life. Since you are easily distracted, remove the distractions physically, outerly, the outer ones. With ADD, I recommend Zogchen rather than Mahamudra. And creating habit patterns that will support your practice. Body memories, changes in how your channels lie by repetition. Use a bell, use a timer. If you have both ADD and OCD, sometimes you can get them to cancel each other out. Sometimes. By obsessing on doing the practice. Problem with ADD is you'll get going on one practice and then you'll decide to do a different practice and then a different practice. So you better write them down, make the choice what ones you're going to do for a month, in what order and at what time of day, and then just stick to that. And don't let yourself choose a different one for a month. Each moon cycle you can switch it up if you want to. Takes about a month to get, actually it takes about 3 months to get good at a practice. But if you're ADD, I'm not sure you can keep going on the same thing for 3 months. So 1 month will do, with the hope of eventually going to a 3-month cycle. Try and see if those things work. If not, let me know in group and I'll see what else we can figure out for you. Next question.
How do I recognize if I am able to, quote, practice, end quote, Dzogchen? Or if I should stay with Sutrayana or Mantrayana? Is it okay to just try and see if it works?
Yeah, try and see it. Actually, the sign we look for to see if someone is ready for Dzogchen is that they like it. Not because somebody said it was the highest practice and they want the best piece, but for what it is. So in my lineage, and this varies, completely different in Chandatuku's lineage, how this is done, order of operation, but with my teacher, you teach the highest teaching first. Treksha, cutting through. If they get it, great. If not, you teach them the higher tantras, Mahanatara Tantra, or such as that. If they get it, great. If not, go back another and you teach them some Kriya Tantras. Or even step back to Yoga Tantra. If they get it, great. If not, take them back further from the Tantras to Sutrayana and put them there for a while until they get that, and then try again. It saves a lot of time rather than running everybody through everything from the beginning, because of a lot of people are old. They don't have 50 years to practice. So there's some hope that they can start in the middle or near the end. Even some of the young ones. So try Dzogchen. The practices of, not the completion of. Try Trekcha, cutting through. See if you like it, because that's the sign that you're ready. You will like it, and then you will do it. You won't do a practice you don't like, not for long enough for it to work. So, the sign of it being the right practice for you is that you like that practice. And as I've said before, most people can focus themselves on not more than 3 things at once. So let's say your main practice is Trekcha. You can have a secondary tantric practice, and with perhaps a 3rd bit of dream yoga or Sutrayana text. Your intellect likes to be scratched. Whatever works for you. But you can't be doing more than 3 at once. You'll spread yourself too thin and none of them are going to work. Next question.
What practice does a complete beginner start with in order to achieve the minimum amount of progress and maintain the motivation to continue practicing?
Lodro Namji, called 4 turning minds. What it means to be fully human, that you are mortal, that you are dissatisfied, and how the push-pull of action and reaction works. These 4 things. Understand them. There are many texts that will help you understand them. Words of My Precious Teacher is a very expanded text. I'm going to have, hopefully this month, but we're working on scheduling, a young Lama, Palga Rinpoche, from Ladakh, come on this channel and teach those to people. He's very good at that. And his English is excellent. So these are really important things that you kind of have to be the full human that it takes to practice. So come to these understandings, and then let's see how you do with Trekcha, if you like it or not. It's okay to not like it. Be honest with yourself. If you don't like it, let's see what you do like. Take you from there. Because the one you like is the one you're gonna do. And they only work if you do them. That's how you get done. If you never put the cake in the oven, you're never gonna get a cake. You're just gonna have goo. You gotta bake. Next question.
Can you elaborate on how it is said that Treksha produces so much Gewa?
To elaborate on this, I need to discuss what is Gewa. It is a word used to refer to good karma. Actions which will have pleasant outcome is what is meant by good karma. Outcome that will be liked. Now, to understand how this works, you need to understand that you yourself are an ecology, not an individual. You and your biome, okay? You're full of living critters. You're not just a singular, you're a multiple. Just like Gaia, the earth, has an ecology. She's sick at the moment, running a fever. Perhaps the fever will wipe out enough of the germs that she will recover. You are also continuously being changed by your experiences. This is called growth. You grow by having experiences. What are your experiences? They are generally interactions with other sentient beings. When your cat comes and loves you, you feel a certain way, or your dog. And because of that feeling of ease and comfort of having your dog hug you, you will be in a better mood for a while. Yes, dogs can cheer you up even when you're down because you lost your job or something happened. Or you're just in a funk that day. In all of this, as it happens, you change. You're constantly interacting with others through TV. You are interacting, even if you just watch a TV show. Bits of those actors are affecting you. The parts they played, the story that's told, the book you read, the philosophy that seems to be shown by the characters. In the play, in the movie, in the book. All of this changes you just a little bit. You're not the same person you were when you were 14, hopefully. That was a hard year. Hopefully you have matured, you have grown. So in all of this interaction, bits of their ideas come into you. Not only that, but when people or other sentient beings are in the same room with you, you exchange biome. You know, my cat sticks its asshole in my face. Obviously, some of its biome is now stuck on my nose. Now it's on my hand. There's a constant interaction, interchange, interconnection, interpenetrating with other sentient beings of your mandala all the time. And of course, their mandala, although it overlaps yours, also extends out. My cat does things out on the kitty freeway with the other cats, exchanging biome and getting new ideas. Right? Your friends have other friends that aren't your friends. They have relatives that aren't your relatives. They're affected, affects you. It's all this interpenetrating interaction between sentient beings. So you're not singular. You're not as separate as you think you are. Read me that question again. I may have strayed a little bit, but there's a point I'm making.
It was about Chod generating Gewa.
So, when your dog leans on you, a dog hug, and you feel better, you may smile at a stranger and they feel better. Actions which cause feeling better are Gewa. Your dog performed Gewa by hugging you. This is a simple analogy. Now, when you sit in trekcha, if it is done properly, with your mind in complete relaxation into the innate and natural openness, vast beyond knowing. So big there is not even a center or an edge, just concepts arising within it and dissolving within it. When your awake, alive awareness relaxes itself into that infinitude without suppressing its innate playfulness and sparkle, that creates a field which manifests outward as across time and space, as occurrences, results, which are enjoyed by whosoever they occur upon. There is Shinlap in sitting in Trekja. Vast amounts of Shinlap. Shinlap translates often as blessings, but sometimes as power. There's a lot of Shinlap in this old Dorji. Because it is old and has been used a lot, it soaks up the Shinlap, so that if I wish to provide Shinlap to someone, I can touch their head with this Dorji and they will feel the Shinlap and they will relax just a little bit. Digpa causes stress. What is the word for the opposite of stress? Relaxation, perhaps. Gewa is relaxation. It creates cause for lack of stress, not just to the one sitting in it, but because of this interpenetrative interaction that's going on continuously among the assorted clumps of biome that occupy the ecology of this world. That lack of stress created by trekcha, when done properly as a relaxation, spreads as Gewa. It will create the cause for further relaxation to all those beings involved in the experience or in the mandala of the experiencer or the mandala of those who it spreads. Relaxation spreads. stress spreads. When a driver is stressed and honking his horn behind you, you feel stressed too. He shared it. When you are relaxed, that shares too in subtle ways that you may not be directly aware of. But our energy fields are there is no singularity, it's all interwoven. So, Trekcha is the big relaxation. When Trekcha is complete, it is Zogchen, which is the total relaxation into your own true nature. Dzogchen is self-secret. That is, I could shout it from the rooftops, nobody'd hear me. Oh, crazy lady shouting on the rooftop. Wouldn't matter. It would be digpa for me to withhold Dzogchen, which is all about one's own true nature. How could I choose to withhold a man's own true nature from him? That's not my secret to keep. It was actually said to me by Lopunla, my bond teacher. It is self-secret. Those who are not ready for it won't understand a word you're saying. True. So I share it freely with you. When you have relaxed totally into your own true nature, which is euphemistically called the three jewels, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. You. But all of you, not just the limited point that you hold yourself tightly in by continuous entertainment. Big you. Relaxed you. That. Beyond knowing. That total relaxation is the completion. We're only baking the cake until the batter relaxes. All the way. And you know when it's done? It's springy. Relaxation is not limpness. The spontaneous arising of action in non-doing is not refraining from deeds. When you have relaxed your little safe boundaries enough that the entire vastness of the multiverse in all its 9 dimensions relax into that, the infinite vast, Longchen Rabsham, infinite vastness of the Dharmakaya. Not empty, not a big void, a big dark nothing. It's alive. Awake, aware, because it's you. It's all of us. We're all in this together. The very awakeness, awareness that you feel in this moment, that's it. That is it. That is the nature of the openness, to be awake and aware. You cannot separate the vastness from the awareness. It is the awareness that is vast. And it is the nature of awareness to continuously dance throughout infinite openness with thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, the dance of phenomena. The dancer, the dance. There is no separation for the awareness. There is nothing other than the awareness of which phenomena may be made. Mind, we say, which is aware, which is infinite, and in which all phenomena arises and advances and dissolves, leaving no trace. Trackless like the path of a bird through the sky. All the analogies that you've heard, like that, but not that. This is a bell. This is a finger pointing at a bell. It doesn't ring. Think if it points at a bell longer, it'll ring. The words I am giving you are fingers. Don't stare at the finger. Look where it's pointing. Trekchö is all about learning to relax. Sometimes when it is very hard for someone to relax, we have them do something very tight and focused, like visualizing a whole bunch of things. And the lights come in and the lights go out, and this happens and that happens, and all of this symbolism goes into the unconscious mind and relaxes it from there, while you keep the conscious mind very busy entertaining itself with pictures. And when you get to the end of it, into a seed syllable, gone. And then you, Trekchö. Don't be trying to stabilize Trekchö. Cutting through is a continuity, not a stillness. It cuts through the belief, feeling, perception systems so that they are not stale. Trekchö is continuous, stable, and fresh in each moment. It's not a dichotomy in Trekchö. So Gewa, when there's enough of it, when you have created enough of it, and it's not something you keep, it's something you create and spread. When enough of it fills your mandala and the universe by your creation, you and those close to you become more and more relaxed, more and more capable of Trekchö. itself into complete relaxation, which is Dzogchen. It's not made, it's not created, it's not done. You're not going to get it from somewhere, something you didn't have before. If it was, it would go away again. It is simply the ability to let go of it all and totally relax into your own true nature and not scrabble on. Next question.
Is Trekcha the best Dzogchen practice for the Kali Yuga? Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche said it was very important, and I'm trying to understand.
Well, give that up. It doesn't belong in Dzogchen understanding. You start relying on understanding and you're just going to tense yourself up again. Yes, Trekcha is. Trekcha is the essence of Dzogchen. There are many other more active Dzogchen practices. We consider them Nundros, Rushens. Helpful. They're generally prescribed like a medicine. As you're doing Trekcha, you get caught on things. Hang-ups, withholdings. I had lunch with a friend yesterday, very close friend, and we talked about the last entertainment, which is perhaps that lack and dissatisfaction itself, and how we will hang on to it as unpleasant as it is, to avoid letting go. I don't know why sentient beings resist enlightenment. But that's what makes them sentient beings. They won't, can't, don't wanna let go. Next question.
What is the relationship between Chod and Dzogchen? I feel they really complement my practice.
Oh, they do. Chod is really good at helping you let go because you go out there into a scary wild place and you call forth your fears and you face them. And you let go of attempting to survive them. Chod symbolically destroys the survival instinct. When you cut the top of your own head off with a trigu, that's counter-survival, right? When you make soup in your own skull out of your bones and your flesh and offer it to your fears, you are directly impacting the survival reflex, which is one of the reflexes that's in your way in Dzogchen. No, Dzogchen doesn't make you not survive. It just sometimes you start thinking it might, and then you tense up, of course. And that's Digpa under those circumstances. Next question.
One of our Spanish viewers asks, could you explain what the mind's eye is and how it differs from the attention?
That is a turn of phrase used in English that I am not sure extends in Spanish. When you imagine the house you grew up in, you kind of see images in your mind as you imagine that, as you remember it, pictures sort of. We say we see those with our mind's eye in English. Doesn't necessarily translate to Spanish or Russian, but it means to imagine an image that is not currently present, is to see it with your mind's eye. That's just linguistics. Attention, you can pay attention to an image you are imagining, such as the image of the house you grew up in, or you can pay attention to your cup of coffee, or to something else. Attention, it moves, it's not still. You cannot forever hold your attention still. It is the nature of attention to move. You learn to relax the focus of your attention in Trekcha. It's another relaxing. But even that is a method to relax the eyes, to relax the attention so that you're not in point focus. This is a method. Top of relaxing. Because focusing is the opposite of relaxing. Next question. Are we coming to the end of them?
Many questions have been popping up since. Is there a particular aspect you want me to look for a question on? Because they're all over the map. Okay. How do we know if we are in Rigpa or in a state of mindfulness?
You're never not in Rigpa. Awareness, you're never not aware. How could you not be in a state of Rigpa? Distraction. You could be so tight that you are not aware of being aware. So distracted, so tightly focused on something, a book, a movie, and a situation. How do you know? When awareness focuses on itself in an open way, when awareness relaxes into itself, nothing is precluded, left out. Totality of phenomena. You cannot point focus on the totality of phenomena. But if you allow your awareness to relax into its natural expansiveness, there is room, space for the totality of phenomena to arise therein. Did that answer your question? Next.
Is Dzogchen kind of like the Zen of Tibetan Buddhism? Both are so simple or empty. And I've seen Zen and Chan used interchangeably.
Yes. I would say of the Japanese lineages, to the best of my knowledge, Zen compares well with Dzogchen. If you are familiar with the 9 bowls, that is a picture of the Dzogchen path. If you are not, there's a nice book called Zen Flesh, Zen Bones that shows them. Or actually, they're a really common picture of the map in Zen Buddhism. Next question.
Okay, give me a moment to find it. It's something to do about.
You, there, who are listening to this and haven't yet gotten bored and wandered off. Your very own awareness, which you do not own, it's big. And the more you relax your paying attention to thises and that's, generally entertainments, the bigger you will feel it to be. Keep relaxing your focus of attention until it reaches infinity. For only at infinity will the infinite variety of phenomena have room to dance. Yar, infinite. Yar, both multiple and singular. Yar, no thing. And the infinite variety of phenomena. You, Kuntuzangpo, Kuntuzangmo, even time and space, arise by paying attention to them. Let go. Any more questions?
Oh, yeah. How many more would you like?
Oh, a few.
Okay.
After which we're just beating words on something that won't.
Yeah. One question. In Treksha, is it the view of Tawa that cuts through, or the exclamation of Pe? Do we have to do Pe?
You only do pay if you need it. It is the view of Tawa that cuts through. You only do pay when your view of Tawa gets hooked on a sensation, such as bliss or grouchiness or clarity or thought-free states. You only hit it with pay if it's stuck. Sometimes it gets stuck as you attempt treachery. And you get all blissed out. Or you get into a zone where time doesn't pass, like, you know, a really good strong hit of acid, where time is both infinite and momentary. Yeah, all these happen without drugs too. Those are the things you hit with pay. Experiences that have beginnings, that get stuck. But it's not enough just to make the sound, guys. It's not enough to even just make the sound properly, which is sudden, sharp, and fierce. You have to sneak up on yourself with it. You have to be looking right at the experience of bliss, of clarity, of thought-free. Your attention has to be focused right on the experience when you hit it with pay. Behind the experience. Pay attention to that. Next.
What are the signs of accomplishment through Tantrayana that signifies I'm ready to proceed to Dzogchen? When am I ready?
When you like Zogchen. No, we're not looking for signs in Tantrayana that you're ready for Dzogchen. We're looking for signs in Dzogchen that you're ready for Dzogchen. You've tried it and like it now. It doesn't irritate you. When, at the end of your sadhana in Tantrayana, the relaxation part after the absorption of the seed syllable, when you like that rest, and you are able to allow that rest to extend longer than just a moment that you'll jump over, that would be a sign that you're ready, because that rest is treksha. So when you like that rest, you're ready. Like it well enough to prolong it a bit. Next question.
Does the Shine practice supplement treksha?
No. The Shine practice is a preliminary to treksha. Once you are capable of treksha, in Mahamudra, you will have already accomplished good Shine. No, Shine is something you hit with pet in treksha. You want to get over it. Next question. I think we'll take one or two more.
Okay.
So, what's good?
What do we have? Oh, wait, there was an earlier, there was a different question. I'm sorry. Someone wanted some clarification on what you mean when you talk about being full human.
You have the inner and outer opportunity and inclination to look beyond finding food and getting laid, making money, to look beyond the mundane. The inclination, well, if you're not interested in looking beyond, that's fine, and most animals aren't. And the opportunity, enough leisure that you're not so busy scrabbling for survival. People who are currently living in war zones do not have leisure. Survival is too difficult. It's only when you are in a place where you feel safe enough physically to consider there must be something more than this. This isn't enough. Of eating and sleeping in a comfortable place and having all your toys around you. This isn't enough. I'm still dissatisfied. That's what we mean by fully human. Having the inner and the outer. The outer is just a little bit of space and leisure. I said, a young single mother with 3 kids under 5, and she got time to even look beyond feeding the kids and what has to be done. A person who is so caught in their own ambition, worldly ambition, that they have no interest in looking beyond. They're completely busy trying to get whatever their next thing is. That's what we talk about as not fully human. Homo sapien, with the potential at any moment to become fully human. Just a matter of some shift. Maybe the guy who's so busy with his ambition and he's a lawyer and winning the cases and winning and losing and all of this, making partner in the firm and his money and his investments, and then he almost gets creamed by a semi in traffic, and suddenly his whole life flashes before him and he reassesses, and he suddenly thinks to himself, there must be something more than this. This is not enough. I have everything I've ever wanted and I'm not satisfied. He just became fully human in that moment. That's what I mean. But for more details and a more traditional explanation, please see Paga Rinpoche's teachings, which will be coming up hopefully later this month. We're trying to schedule. We're working on it. It will suddenly appear on the schedule, and it's called The Four Turning Minds. Look for that by Paga Rinpoche. He's been kind enough to agree to teach that for me in the traditional way. One more, and then I'm going to call it quits for today. We've been for a while.
Oh, yeah. Another Spanish viewer asks, is Sambodhakaya the witnessing consciousness, Nirmanakaya the witness phenomena, and Dharmakaya the absolute reality of what they are both made of?
Yeah, maybe you could think that. But it's not what you think it is. Didn't I say that first? It is formless wisdom beyond form, shape, and color. It is inexpressible wisdom beyond letters, words, and names. It is non-conceptual wisdom beyond the concepts of discernment and the intellect. Stop trying to understand it. That was from 21 Nails Upon Text. Stop trying to understand it. You can't. Besides, why would you want to? For example, a pizza. Do you really want to understand the pizza, or do you want to eat the pizza? I mean, if you're hungry, no matter how well you understand how pizzas are made and who makes them and where they come from and what they're made out of and all of this, will that satisfy your hunger? Eat the damn thing. You'll feel better. The same can be said for Trekcha and Zogchen. Don't try to understand it. Do the doing until you're done. Gewa chi sala gopashu. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you around next time. We are complete.